Here's your bell ringer for Thursday, September the 2nd. I need you to copy this graph in your notebook. Make sure you got the right coordinates where these holes are in the graph. There's 3 holes. And we're going to answer 10 questions based on this one graph for the bell ringer. And then I'm going to give you a homework problem to do on your own. Okay, so once you get this graph copied, we're going to answer these 10 questions. We're going to find the domain, the range, positive intervals or interval, negative intervals or interval, increasing intervals, decreasing intervals, maximum, minimum, and then we're going to find f of -6, and then we'll find the average rate of change or the average slope on the interval -6 to 5. Okay, so if you want to try these on your own before I work them out, you can. See if you get them right. So let's do the domain first. Domain, that is all possible x values on this function. And we're going to go from left to right. So coming from the left, we're going to come from negative infinity. And we are going to stop at the x value of -4 because there's a hole there and it's not included. Then we're going to pick back up at -4 and we're going to go until we get to the x value of 0. There's a hole there. Then we'll pick back up at 0 and we'll go to 4. There's a hole there. And then we'll pick back up at 4 and go to infinity. The range, we're going from the bottom to the top. We're looking at all possible y values on this function. So starting from the bottom, the first y value we come to is -4. It's not included. And we're going to go from -4 to the y value of 0 and stop because there's a hole there and it's not included. We're going to pick back up at 0 and we're going to positive infinity. There's my range. Okay, your positive intervals. This means what are all the possible x values or the possible inputs where I would have a positive output. So what x values would make my function or my y values to be positive? So there's 2 positive intervals. The first one will be from negative infinity to -4. That'll give me a positive output. Negative infinity to -4. The second one's going to be from 4 to infinity. And then the negative intervals, the first interval will be from -4 to 0. -4 to 0. And then from 0 to 4. So any x value between -4 and 0 or between 0 and 4 would give me a negative output, a negative y value. All right, increasing intervals. We're looking for where does this function go uphill from left to right. And it goes uphill from 0 to 4. And from 4 to infinity. And the reason we couldn't just say 0 to infinity is because there is a hole right there at 4, so 4 is not included. And then where does it go downhill? The decreasing intervals. it goes downhill from negative infinity to negative 4. And then from negative 4 to 0. We're going downhill. Okay, maximum. Does this function have a maximum y value? And the answer is no, because of these two arrows, they keep going up. So there's no maximum, let's put NA, but there is a minimum y value. What is the lowest y value you see? We started at negative 4, so we'll just put negative 4. Okay. And then f of negative 6. This means if we plug in a negative 6, if our input is negative 6, or our x value is negative 6, what's our y value or our output going to be? So look at negative 6 on the x-axis. And if we're at negative 6 on the x, we are at positive 4. So this is negative 6, 4 coordinate. So f of negative 6 is 4. And then let's find the average rate of change, or the slope, the average slope from the interval negative 6 to 5. So we need to figure out, which we already found f of negative 6. It's right, there's green, right here. There's f of negative 6. Now we need to find f of 5. F of 5 would be here. And so we're going to find the slope from those 2 points. And that's going to be a negative slope. We've got to find the rise distance and the run distance. Okay, so the rise distance is 2. The run distance is going to be 11. So this is going to be a negative rise over run, negative 2 over 11. Okay, so there are the 10 questions for your bell ringer. Okay, here's your graph for your homework problem I want you to do. Make sure you get exactly where the holes are. Make sure you get exactly where it crosses that y-axis and exactly where it crosses the x-axis. And I want you to answer these 10 questions. Same 10 questions we just did, except I want you to find f of 0. And I want you to find the average rate of change, or the average slope, from negative 3 to 5. Alright, so give that one a try and make sure you get both of these in your notebook for September the 2nd.